Hi, my name is Lyle, and you're about to watch me try to replace the innards of a shower valve. You must be so excited! Before I show you anything of possible value, I'd like to explain the typical pattern I follow when trying to repair or, on the rarest of occasions, improve my home. I think it's important for you to understand how I operate because I have no idea what will happen when I try and fix stuff, but there is a fairly consistent pattern that my repairs follow. To explain this process, I think it's helpful to reference the Kubler-Ross model for how we process grief. You might be familiar with this model if you've processed grief yourself, or maybe you've had some corporate training about how people feel when you fire them or tell them that they suck at what they do. Not only do I often go through this process when trying to fix things in my home, it also closely mirrors the actual condition of my home as I try to repair it. I'll illustrate this point here as I explain how I got to current state with my shower. And to do that, I've added some purple to the chart to measure the function of my shower as I tried to figure out what was wrong with it. The dotted line represents how you might expect a shower to function normally. Water comes out when you turn it on, temperature adjusts according to how you turn the handle, and completely stops when you turn it off. Now, this all started when I realized that the shower was dripping perpetually while turned off. If I messed with the handle some, I could get the drip to a minimum, but eventually could not get it to completely stop. I ignored it for a couple of weeks, but that constant dripping got louder and louder in my head, and I decided I needed to do something about it. As everybody on Earth does, I started with a Google search and read a few articles that suggested the problem was almost surely within my shower valve where the handle is connected. At this point, I'm feeling pretty confident that I can quickly resolve the issue, so I make some plans to investigate further when my upstairs tenant isn't around. To get a first-hand look at the problem, I have to turn off the water to the whole house. So you'll note on my graph that the shower is non-functional. Believe it or not, that's a hand-drawn graph line. But I'm still in completely denial about my ability to resolve the problem or even undo whatever damage is about to come. With the water off, I removed the shower handle so I could get a look at the valve area. And actually, just getting the handle off proved to be way harder than I had hoped. But that wasn't enough to sway my confidence just yet. Now, if you Google shower valve cartridge, you'll probably see something like the picture on the right. A singular unit, easy to take out or install. All you really have to worry about is getting the right size cartridge. That's definitely what I was expecting. But what actually came out looked more like this. And that's when how I felt about my shower started to match up pretty close with the actual state of the shower. The shower cartridge came out in roughly 8 pieces. I didn't know if it had disintegrated to the point where the unit just couldn't hold itself together anymore, or if this was actually how the shower was put together. But in either case, what didn't occur to me at the time was to pay any attention to what pattern these pieces were coming out of my shower valve. In the end, I was left with a handful of junk and no idea how to restore the function of my shower. I'm not just in the depression phase of my home repair journey now. I'm in a full fucking panic because at some point my tenant will come home and want water in their flat, and if I haven't dealt with this shower problem by then, I'll have water blasting out the middle of my shower valve all over my bathroom. As I calm down, I realize I don't have many options. I could replace the whole shower valve, but that involves cutting and welding pipes and opening a large hole in my wall. And frankly, there isn't a graph with a y-axis that goes low enough for me to try that project on my own. So I know my only real alternative right now is to try and figure out how all these parts go back together so I can close up the shower valve, turn on the water, and hopefully still be able to bathe myself. So that's what I did. And I did a pretty good job too. I was able to at least turn the water back on, but now my shower has a couple new issues. It still leaked. In fact, the leak was probably 20 times worse than before. So I actually had to install a diverter before the shower head and cap one end of it just so I could get the drip back in the ballpark of where it was before. Also, I put the cartridge in upside down. I assume so anyways, because hot is cold and cold is hot now. But really, hot is cold and cold is not as cold as hot, if that makes sense. Normally, I'd probably walk away at this point, happy that my appliance or other home feature is working again, even in a diminished capacity. And after all, I just brought it back from not working at all, right? But in this case, I've decided for once, not very good isn't good enough. I want a shower that works at a level that everyone else expects their shower to perform at. And I want it bad enough that I'm willing to venture back into this grief cycle for another try. Before I can make plans to do that, I need to find a proper replacement for the cartridge. I kind of had the feeling my bathroom was remodeled maybe 10 or so years ago, but the shower valve in the shower is way smaller than anything I can get at Home Depot. So I did a lot of searching trying to figure out what year my shower assembly was from, and I finally found a picture that matched my shower handle, and from there I was able to figure out how old it was. Turns out it's from roughly 1980, so I was close. Anyhow, I was able to get a model number and then used it to find this listing on Amazon. I don't know if it's an exact match, but this picture looks pretty close to the pile of crap I pulled out of my shower, so I'm going to run with it, and hopefully this goes well. I bought it off Amazon, but I doubt they have this item just sitting in the Kenosha warehouse waiting for next day shipping, so I'll pick up the story when the package actually arrives. Okay, it's right over here. And well, this is kind of tough. How do people film themselves opening stuff? Hang on. There's got to be an easier way to do this. There we go. Much better. This actually looks a lot better than I thought it was going to be coming out of the package. The pieces seem to be somewhat put together already. That should be useful for me. One thing I was warned about in the online description is that these instructions are like 40 years old and seem to have been photocopied like 1,500 times, but I think I can follow these, so it's probably time to go turn off the water and let's see if we can make this work. All right, I think I've got a good hands-free solution for the rest of this video. Let's test it out by taking a look at the existing condition of my shower. Hopefully you can see it. So like you can see, we're dripping here still a little bit, even after I put this diverter in. So after I messed around in this area previously, this is about how much water was coming out when the shower is turned off. And this is how much water was coming out before I started working on this. Anyhow, I'm going to go ahead and take this off, and then we'll go down and turn the water off. Hopefully I don't make a huge mess here. Oh, this was already a dumb idea. All right. Let's stick with it. There we go. All right. Now you guys, if you can see anything in here, you probably may be wondering, saying to yourself, hey Lyle, your whole bathroom kind of sucks. Well, why don't you just gut this thing and remodel it instead of messing around with these little rinky-dink problems? To which, all I can really say is, shut up. Hey again, I'm headed down to my basement right now to turn off this water, and I'll show you a little taste of some of my other handiwork down here. So a couple of years ago, I put this floor in down here, a laminate floor to cover the cement, so I could make it into an actual bedroom. We needed the space in this flat, so I did that. It took a while, and it started to get towards the end of projects and don't feel like really doing it anymore. So I did the floor and I put in some baseboards around it, but I didn't really bother with finishing any thresholds or stuff. And I kind of blocked this door in, which is where the water valve is for the main. So the door doesn't open too great, but thankfully this door is kind of made out of like some sort of poster board or something, so I can just sort of rip it up out of the way here. I'll find this water valve. There we go. Turn this thing for a while. Enjoy watching this. Now, once I turn this off, the clock starts. I got my son coming back over here tomorrow, so I've got a day to finish this this job and hopefully fix the shower. All right, that's all turned off. Like I said, I've got one day, so let's go drink some beers. Hi again. Water's off. You can see there's nothing coming out, so clearly the water must be off. It's not because I fixed anything. Now I'm just going to take this apart quick. Hopefully we can fast forward through some of this stuff. And then I'll go back and read those instructions, and we'll hopefully put this thing together correctly. That was a mistake already. Screw in the wrong way. This piece was a pain in the ass to take off last time. I hoped it would be easier this time since hey, it is. All right. This piece I never actually attached correctly. Again, lost a ring down here. And I think this stuff just sort of pulls. Oh no, we gotta unscrew a piece here. Sorry, maybe I can zoom this in. Did that zoom in at all? I don't think so. Anyhow. I guess this is as zoomed in as it gets. Let me just get close here. You can see. Now I'm down to the cartridge. And this guy right here, I gotta take off with a wrench. Actually, these are pliers. And now pieces start to pull out. I think there's like 5 different ones in here I gotta get. Okay, it took me a little while to remember how to get some of these pieces out of here, but it's not really relevant to the video because I've already taken this apart before and put it back together incorrectly. So there was really nothing to remember here. I also realized that I turned off the water while I had both my dishwasher and my washer machine running. So I can't wait to see what's happened inside both of those machines. All right, one. See you later. Some more pieces. It's like an O-ring. This stuff's just floating around in here. This is a freaking disaster. Oh, it's not even coming out straight now. All right, 2 more. Just one more piece to get out. Okay, well, a couple rings. Okay, so last time I went in there, like this is all the stuff that came out of there. I was expecting one piece to come out. You can imagine how scared I was when I took this apart and had no idea what to do with it or where I would find anything to replace it. It was kind of the inspiration for this video to begin with, because when I was at the PT and joking with Steph about this, she imagined a scenario where I would take this pile of crap into Home Depot and say, hey, do you have one of these? Well, turns out these are exactly how these things come. I guess now that all the parts are out of the existing shower, I was able to sort of reassemble them, and looks like I've got the same stuff that is supposed to go back in there. So let's go do that. Step 1, I have to put these little O-rings into those little holes in the back. See those big eyeballs? That's where they're going. All right, I got these little guys in there. At least they appear to be in there, right? Our little alien in there, he's got glasses on. All right, so I've decoded step 2 here, and I'm supposed to take this ceramic spacer or whatever it is. I'm supposed to coat this side with grease and then slip it in there. And you see this little hole at the top? is supposed to slide onto a pin that keeps it, I guess, correctly situated, right? Only problem is, I got a pinhole, but I don't got a pin. And clearly this thing's got to be at the top. It won't sit up there on its own. So I might have to take a little break and figure out where I can get a pin to hold this thing in place. I was poking around and I found this 2-to-1 adapter for like a headphone jack thing or something. I don't know why I have this or why I would have kept it other than for like this very specific moment in my life doing this repair. I think this could work, so I'm going to spend some time and tear this apart and see if it'll be my pin. It's not easy to see, but I have a pin, a makeshift pin jammed in there. See it at the top? I'm concerned it's a little long. Plus both my O-rings fell out and I'm going to have to do those again, but we're going to just try a dry fit of this real quick. See if this pin's going to work. It was a lot easier when I wasn't holding my phone. I think we have a winner here. Sub-assembly complete. Time for the final assembly steps here. Everything looks okay in there. I mean, how would I know? But looks good enough to me. Now I just need to insert the sub-assembly into place, aligning the slots with these tabs on this retaining plate. Don't fall apart. Wiggle it in there. Okay. I don't even know if I was actually filming that. And then I've got a piece I got to screw on here. I'll be back for that in a moment. I'm putting this nut back on. It's the last piece before we test to see how well or how not well I did. I think that's pretty snug. Now I'm going to push this, here, come close for this. If I put this in correctly, then I should push this down. And then I should turn the water on. To be honest, I feel like, well, let's just see. Didn't really go down at all. Maybe it was already down. Or maybe it's upside down. We'll see soon. Okay, the water's back on. And I'm nowhere near the bathroom. And I can already hear water flowing quite loudly. Let's hope that I just put this thing on upside down. And not that this is what it's like now when it's off. It's definitely not off. Well, that's not good. This is even worse than when I started today. So I paused the video for a moment to cry for a little bit, and then I thought I'll just put the handle back on loosely and see if I can make this thing turn off a little more than it was turned off before. So I put the handle on there, check it out. Barely dripping, which I think if I put the actual shower head back on might mean no dripping whatsoever. Just to show I'm not cheating and didn't turn the water off, I'll turn it back on. I did it. I fixed it. And by I fixed it, I mean made it work like it was supposed to work from the beginning. No actual improvement value whatsoever. But it's done. Thanks for watching.